I was hoping that there'd be a cutscene because it said that we were gonna head out tomorrow, but there wasn't. Wait, Patty's gone. So maybe there's gonna be a cutscene when we head out here. Maybe. There wasn't. What the hell? Unless I can just head out, like, right now. People are gone. I could probably just head out now, right? Hold on. Yeah.
Glad you could make it.
Sorry to keep you waiting. You'll be heading back too, right?
Yes. Thanks to your help, we've recovered our strength. We were thinking we'd cross the desert with you all. That is, if you don't mind.
Just make sure you don't go wandering off.
How about us? What's our plan after this? I'm headed for the Air Crene and the Wizened of Kados. But I am curious about the Entelikeia, too.
I have the honored task of delivering this letter here to Belius.
I'd like to meet Belius once myself. I mean, seriously, the Duce.
Nice ventriloquism.
Just what kind of person the leader of the only guild to rival Altosk really is.
Belius?
Yeah. Belius is the Duce of Palestrale, which governs Nordopolica. She's the most important person there.
You're friends with someone that amazing, Carol?
Huh? Friends? Well,
It's Nordopolica for me, too. I'm gonna see what Flynn has to say about those knights in Mantake. That's assuming he's still in Nordopolica, of course.
I want to know why the Entelikeia hate the child of the full moon. Which means I have to meet Pharaoh.
but there's gotta be another way that doesn't involve Pharaoh.
Right. Besides, walking around in the desert just looking for him wouldn't be easy.
Why don't we all head for Nordopolica then? You're only looking to find out the reason you were attacked by the Entelikeia, correct?
Yes?
I imagine Belius could tell you if you met with her.
Why? Because of the connection between the Entelikeia and the Colosseum?
I do remember Jaeger mumbling something about the Entelikeia of Nordopolica.
If we can believe anything he told us.
Well, we'll pass through the Wizened of Kados on the way to see Belius. Good enough?
True enough. Alright then, Nordopolica it is.
Right. First, let's get back to Mantake.
What about Patty?
If I remember correctly, there were some people in Nordopolica who didn't think too highly of Patty. I'll be fine, as long as I don't run into any of them. As soon as I'm out in the open sea, everything will be okay.
Then, will you come with us?
Aye, that I will. Didn't Belius only meet with people on the night of the new moon?
Yeah, we'll have to get a move on if we're going to see her.
No, audio issues. I thought maybe they were gone. They're not.
If I miss the new moon and have to wait another month.
Ah, I'm kicking myself every time this game has an audio issue. Maybe I just got like a freaky defective, slightly defective copy of the game or something. I don't know. I don't know. What's going on here?
Can a clear CL crystal really be used to make a barrier?
If they could, and we had enough, we'd be able to make as many barriers as we wanted.
Then even areas that suffer frequent monster attacks could be assured safety.
Yeah, but if it were possible, wouldn't something like that have happened by now?
Maybe it's best not to get our hopes up about it then.
Ever the realist, I see.
All I'm doing is speculating on the most probable outcome.
Actually, I think that's what being a realist means.
Well, let's head into the world. I keep my camera off in case there's an immediate cutscene. There's not an immediate cutscene. Where are we going? Where is it? Was it that way? I think it's that way. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go this way. Oh. Wait. I don't see anything else around, right? So it's gotta be back through the desert again because we're going back to like Nordopolica, and I think that's what that is over the... Wait, what? Oh! Oh, okay. Oh, wait, what's this? Can't enter it. Wait, this isn't Nordopolica. Where? Also, I saw the stuff that you said, Guzma. I'm gonna, like, actually give a response to it in a hot second. First, I'm just trying to figure out how to get to, Okay. Wait, do we do something here? Spike in the middle is where Pharaoh is at, but you can't get there yet, at least not right now. So I think I actually got to go through town for the thing. We'll see if there's an immediate cutscene. I promise I'll respond to that in like a hot second. Oh, there is an immediate thing.
We're finally
because I do have a proper
I've seen enough sand to last me a lifetime.
response.
You're telling me.
Look, there are people outside the town.
Wonder if that means the curfew's been lifted.
Oh, is that freaking Dudo? Dude that shares the voice actor with Awakening's freaking Inigo. Inigo Montoya. I want to see Mr. Mr. German dude so I can make fun of him more.
Indeed. We need to be cautious here and see what's going on.
Hurry, hurry, all aboard. Let's all enjoy a nice little tour of the desert, shall we?
But while we're gone, the children.
I promise riches
But
to
Mr.
anyone who can
Krabs,
bring me the remains
what
of
about the
giant winged
children?
monster.
I don't care about the children. I just care about their parents' money.
Then your children will be able to live in the lap of luxury.
Please, don't make us go.
Stop your whining. I told you vermin to get aboard.
Why do you sound like you're in a tunnel now?
Now get moving this instant.
That's just how we were sent into the desert.
Oh, but you're back here and just oh wait. Oh, you were part of the two that I freaking brought back just now. I thought these were like this was a random NPC talking to me that we've never seen before, but it was actually the duos we saved. Whoops.
Why don't they get on board themselves?
Because they must know just how dangerous this desert is, just like what happened to us.
The giant winged monster must be Pharaoh.
Yeah, but what's he want to capture Pharaoh so bad for?
Well, what are we gonna do? We can't just stand by and watch, can we?
I don't think it's a good idea to go right now.
I don't think it's a good idea to right now either.
I'm afraid that idiot isn't gonna listen to anything a princess would say.
Then what should we do?
Carol, come here a sec.
Seduce them, Carol. Again.
What? Yeah, I could do that, but I'd need tools. Wait, you mean?
I need a scope. I need 15 rounds. Gonna need a building from at least 1,500 meters away.
Yes, perhaps this will help.
An elevation of at least 1,000.
Convenient.
Not 1,000 meters. That's a massive exaggeration. If only it was a screwdriver, I'd say I could really screw with you.
So you did pick that up?
Well, it was just lying there. I thought it might be useful.
Whatever.
Whatever.
What's he doing?
Now about all we can do is leave it up to the kid.
He's gonna shove the wrench up where a wrench should never have gone.
These commoners, they're slower than slugs. Get aboard, damn you!
Sir Cumore, everyone is aboard.
They literally sound like they're in tunnels.
Everyone except yourself.
What? Me?
Those who do their jobs slowly will never learn without punishment.
Sir Cumore, please, I beg of you. I have a wife and daughter.
If you'd like to stay here, I'm sure I could arrange for them to go in your place.
If I just never hit A, how far is this gonna zoom in? Just like that time that we were in that cutscene chasing that ship and it kept going farther away. If I just don't hit A, how far does it zoom in? I want to know. Like, when does it stop zooming in? I want to know the answer to this. And so I'm not gonna hit A until it stops zooming in. Is it just gonna keep going? It's continuing to go. It's going more and more. Is it slowing down though? It might be slowing down though. It's still zooming in. I think it is slowing down though. Wait, did it stop zooming? I think it stopped zooming. I think that's as far as it goes.
Now be gone with you.
Carol, don't worry. That young man is very capable.
Is he gonna loosen the wheels? Is that what's going on here? It would not be that freaking easy. Okay, I changed the tires on my own car rather than take it into the shop. And let me tell you, if it's fastened on there well, then you are not going to be able to freaking take it off with something like a wrench. You're gonna need to get like a long bar to make like a lever to get like a snipe kind of situation going, so that you have enough leverage to actually be able to, you know, start getting it turned, you know? And, you know, you would hope that it would be like, you would turn it so much that, you know, freaking, it would take a while to actually get it off from there. Like, first of all, you make sure that those are on there tight so that this doesn't happen when you're out driving. You would think it would be like the same kind of thing for carriages. You make sure those lugs are on there tight. And then freaking, if you're going to like take tires off, yeah, you're not even going to be able to, if they're on there tight and well, you're not even going to be able to do it with an air impact. You're going to need to get like a big lever of a metal bar to like push down and turn it to like get it rotating. And then you can use like an air impact or something like that to loosen it, to like actually, you know, do the loosening and tightening super fast without having to turn for like 3,000 years. Otherwise, you're going to be there turning out for 3,000 years. So unless freaking either there is an engineer of this carriage that needs to be fired, or Carol is just like a freaking superhuman in terms of his strength with that freaking wrench. Because if a tiny child like him can loosen the freaking connections on that tire, then they must have been on there so loose that like the thing was already in danger of the wheels coming off.
Fix the blasted
like,
I will find out who's responsible for this.
Like, I'm no expert mechanic or anything like that, but I do like the basics of getting hands-on with my car when I need to. And let me tell you, I don't know what things would have been like with a freaking coach, a horse-drawn, or whatever the creature is called, drawn carriage thing, but like, you know, if it's so loose that a wimpy child can do that, then that thing was already in danger of just falling apart. Let me tell you.
Hand it to the little runt.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to the runt too.
You did it.
My heart was pounding like a drum.
Either Carol's a superhuman who also has super speed for loosening it so fast, or whoever designed that coach needs to be fired.
This won't do anything more than buy us some time, though.
I think it's about all we can do at the moment.
Like, the person within the universe of this game, not like a game developer, to clarify.
We're still in the middle of our journey, after all.
Yeah, Cat and Carol would start crying if we tried to tackle the knights head on.
How about we make ourselves scarce before people start getting too curious?
I suppose we'll be on our way then.
Yeah, I'm sure your kids will be so happy to see you. But there won't always be someone around to save you.
Yeah, I'm sure your kids will be so happy to see you. Nice emotion in that line. Anyway, what's to stop them from just being put back on the carriage again the moment that it's freaking fixed up? Because if it took that long to take off the thing, it'd probably take a lot, about the same amount of time to put it back on again.
For all your help.
Like, again, I'm no expert mechanic.
Guess we should lay low at the inn for a while.
But I have experience changing car tires. Freaking twice a year. So, you know.
Using your power to terrorize people. There's not a soul in the lower quarter that evil. You've gone too far this time, Q-More.
Well, that was a short thing there. But yeah, whoa, the text is not going to properly show up unless I slap it somewhere. There we go. But yeah, of course it's not that easy, but it also goes to show how dumb that empire is. Yeah, and games aren't designed to be like, you know, realistic to modern standards or anything like that. That was actually, we had like a week of lectures talking about that in my use of history and video games class, is how do you talk about like games realism and such? Because, you know, it's funny, because we were looking through the lens of like games that are like historical games. A lot of people will judge games for their realism based on their cultural and social portrayals. Like, oh, especially with historical games, like, oh, this class of people never did this kind of thing, or like this group was never involved in that. That's not historically accurate. And people will like put that kind of expectations for realism onto games that aren't even set in our own history and are set in like a fictional history. Like, take The Witcher, for example. I've never actually played the game The Witcher. I own The Witcher 3. I do have it on my computer. I should play it at some point. I've heard that's good. But people will criticize games like The Witcher, being like, oh man, there's options for like same-sex relationships or something like that. At least I think I'm thinking of The Witcher for that. Again, I've never played it. There's options for same-sex relationships. That's not accurate to the time. Forget the fact that there's literal, like, freaking monsters and magic and everything like that going around. No, here's the thing that matters about not being realistic for, like, the times that aren't even set within our own history. But I think that's very interesting that when a lot of people judge games based on realism, they'll do it based on, like, the social and cultural parts of it, and not like the actual realisticness of the world and stuff like that, I guess. Because I mean, in so many games you're going to be seeing so many things that are so out there that can never happen in our own world. Who's going to care if like some little thing is not going to, you know, match up to like our own world and stuff like that. Like, you look at people criticizing something like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, for example, and freaking, you know, the way that people are going to be criticizing that game is it's going to be on the way that freaking, you know, the way that it portrays female characters and stuff like that. But freaking people firing lasers from a giant mech from space, yeah, that's fine and all that stuff. So I think it's really interesting how people judge realism in games. So when in cases like that, when I judge this game on its realism, that's not me judging it to say that it's a bad game. That's me freaking judging it to like have fun. So like I know that I've gotten some comments before on this series being like, I can't believe how much you're tearing it apart. Just like freaking enjoy it. How dare you tear apart like one of my favorite games? Whereas when I'm tearing something like that apart, it's not me trying to be like, this game is so bad, it's not portraying things realistically. That's just me having fun and like calling out some situations that like the developers probably never intended people to call out and such. So like, you know, just know that if I'm criticizing something like that cart not at all being realistic, that's not like a genuine criticism of this game. It's not like this game's gonna be worse off for that. That's just the kind of thing that I'm gonna have fun like laughing about because, you know, it's funny to think about. It's funny to think about how wimpy that cart was, you know.
Perhaps it was a talisman to keep us on the right path.
The feather was there. Getting lost could be related to the Pharaoh after all.
So when I criticize stuff like that, it's not me thinking that the game is bad or anything. It's me just wanting something to like laugh about in ways that the developers probably never intended, you know. So I guess we'll keep on going to Nordopolica and such. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, we're hoping it would zoom in on Estelle's hair if that one bit kept on zooming in. Imagine for a hot second. But yeah, anyway, the stuff that was mentioned there before. Let's go through the cave again, I suppose. Gosh darn it. I'm just gonna let it auto battle so I can like talk and stuff. There we go. Have fun. Have fun. Random fall? Wait. Okay, sure. But yeah, anyway, let's just see here. During the time when you asked you for a suggestion, you were currently playing this at the time and really enjoyed your time with this game. So at the time, you're only thinking of this game. Is the game a little bit too loud, by the way? Where's my mouse cursor? I'll turn it down 1 more decibel. 1.5, actually. I changed my mind. Something like that. Actually, 2. 2 all in all. If I can actually adjust it. There, something like that. That might be a bit better. But yeah, because this game really has made you laugh more than any game you've played in a long time, and a part of you also want to introduce you to the Tales series, considering it's really similar to all the games that you've played. This Vesperia is also a good start for the beginners to the series, considering Tales of Arise is also coming out to know if you plan on playing it, though. I mean, again, I feel like I'll have like a full opinion of this game by the time that it comes out. Oh yeah, we can switch to repeat now. A game audio is fine. Okay, that's good for now then. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, there's a lot of game stories that, you know, only wind up, like, really, really standing out to me later on. Like, my favorite game of all time, for example, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. The story of that game starts out, like, pretty standard alrighty for, like, a Pokemon kind of thing, Bob. But then, freaking, past the halfway point and onward, it's just like, oh my goodness, this is, like, a freaking legendary story. What the hell? Like, absolutely not what you'd expect. So I know that there's still, like, a lot to get through with this game. And, you know, still a lot to experience. I'm just gonna run through and freaking let things auto battle so I can like ramble and stuff and not have to use my brain. I do honestly like it when games include things like an auto mode, like freaking Miitopia, for example, where it's like, do you not like using your brain? Here's an option to like not use your brain. And there are times that I want to not use my brain. So I appreciate this from the game.
I don't think so.
Poor Raven. But yeah, we could always switch to repeat in the overworld and whatnot because we're going through here. But anyway, for the what a nerd playing with the controller. Indeed, how are you doing, Anima? I saw you and Shuck were hopping into Dead by Daylight. Are you playing it together by chance? Playing any DBD together? Weak bottle, what the hell? Anyway, what I was saying was, oh, and what I was about to say, Anima might not like what I'm about to freaking say about another game. We are at caps lock. Understandable. But no, the reason of me not streaming this game as often as other games is definitely not because of like disliking the game or anything like that. There have been very few instances on this channel where I've been like absolutely miserable with a game, and to the point that I just didn't have the motivation to play it. Like, this is not at all that kind of case. Like, I don't think that the game is so far like standing out like freaking absolutely incredible to me at this point or anything like that. But like, I am still generally enjoying my time with it and generally like making progress through with it. And I think that the last time that I played a game on this, yeah, it's not a terrible suggestion. I think the last time that a game actually made me miserable that I covered on this channel was
I'm taking you down.
Again, I'm sorry, Anima, but the last time, and if anybody's watching this on YouTube after the fact, I know that there's going to be a lot of people that probably hate me for saying what I'm about to say. And I wouldn't be surprised to see like dislikes on this freaking thingamabob for that reason. Where is it? It's been a long time since hopping into it. I just couldn't. Like, I know that whenever I heard about Okami in the past, I would always just hear people talking about how it was like a freaking masterpiece of a game. And just like the kind of thing that everybody has to experience at some point. Like, it had a freaking masterpiece of a story, a masterpiece of a soundtrack, an unbelievably enjoyable time. I really did not at all have fun with Okami. Like, I could not. Like, it was just so boring. Like, it was so slow and so boring. Like, I could not get into that, like, at all. The music was good. I will definitely say the soundtrack and music was generally good. I don't think it's a freaking masterpiece of a soundtrack like people made it out to be. I thought it was definitely an above average soundtrack that was pretty nice. But I don't think it was like a freaking masterpiece of a thingamabob. The story had like 3 different arcs, like this game apparently does. Apparently this game we're playing right now has 3 different arcs. But like,
you're being pretty loose with
I just kind of wanted Okami to like end already because I was miserable playing it. Because I feel like one of the biggest reasons that I disliked Okami was because it was very much a Zelda-esque kind of game. And there's a lot of older Zelda games, well, not older, like medium-aged Zelda games that I couldn't really get into as much. Like freaking Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, where it's like, I love the story and the OST of those games, but I couldn't get into them gameplay-wise. Because sometimes I feel like I'm a Zelda fan who's not meant to be a Zelda fan. Where, you know, it just feels super tedious freaking going back to, you know, find the thing that does the exact thing that you need to do, whether that be in dungeons or the overworld. Or freaking something like Skyward Sword, that was my first Zelda game. Is like, I'll enjoy my time out in the world, but then the dungeons are just like, actually no, I actually kind of enjoy the dungeons of Skyward Sword. But Wind Waker and Twilight Princess to me were just like, the dungeons felt like work that I just needed to get through to be able to enjoy more of the game parts that I actually enjoyed and such. And every time I wound up going into like a new dungeon in freaking Twilight Princess or Wind Waker, it was just like, ugh, time to get it through with. Playing Okami was like I was always in a freaking dungeon in Zelda, is what it felt like. And that game did have like dedicated dungeons as well. But even figuring out what the heck I was supposed to do in the overworld also felt like freaking going through a Zelda dungeon where it was like, what the hell do I do? Like, the reason I could put up with Skyward Sword's dungeons is because they were like so linear that as long as you're going forward, you're gonna find like the answer to the... You're gonna find the answer and clear the dungeon. Or something like freaking Wind Waker or Twilight Princess is like, oh, you got the thing that you needed? Time to like backtrack until you find like the one room that you need that specific thing. Like, I could put up with stuff like that as a kiddo that's like taking my time just sitting there playing and enjoying a game. But nowadays, as a freaking university student, as an adult, I'm just like, I've got things to do. Get on with it. Let me constantly feel like I'm making progress. Okami felt like I was constantly not making progress, and like I was freaking constantly just like forced into situations where the game got like artificially longer. And what I mean by artificially longer is like it just shoehorns in things that aren't really necessary at all to like everything going on just for the sake of adding like more hours to the game. Like, for example, there was this bit where you enter this village and it's like before you can enter the second dungeon of the game. You need to track down like 5 K9 warriors around the village. Here's this tracker that helps you find them. And it was like, oh, fine, I'll go do that. And I went and did that and gathered like the 5 K9 warriors or whatever. And then after I gathered the 5 K9 warriors, the game was like, oh, you got those 5. Turns out there's actually like 3 more and they're not in the village. They're just out in the world. The tracker to help you find them is gone now. You don't get any help finding them. There's literally no objective markers anywhere on the map. Just find 3 of them existing somewhere across the entire open world. Have fun. And it's just like, come on! Is this really gonna be how you like add additional hours to the game? In like the worst way possible? Just be like, yep, freaking the entire world, find without any assistance whatsoever 3 doodles around the world and do like some side quest for them before you can enter the second dungeon of the game. Like, so many parts of that game just made me want to tear my hair out because it felt like I never knew what I was supposed to do. I started looking up guides for that game, kind of like I have for Tales here, but like, so essentially there haven't been a lot of games that I've played on this channel that, you know, I actually did not want to hop into at all because they made me miserable. That is not at all the reason why there's like long sessions between Tales of Vesperia. Like, I am generally enjoying this game, seeing what's going on. Like, I don't think that it's like a standout masterpiece or something like that, like a lot of games that I've played, but you know, I am still generally enjoying it. And when I do hop on and streaming this game, I am still having a good time. But freaking Okami made me want to tear my hair out. Doesn't help the fact that the Switch version like crashed on me like 2 or 3 times throughout the playthrough. I've been debating about making a video essay before on why I don't like Okami, when freaking literally everybody that I've ever heard of that has an opinion on Okami always says that it's a masterpiece. And like, I just could not. I could not with that game. Like, the biggest issue being, it just felt like it made itself artificially longer through the most convoluted niche specific stuff that I had to do. That, like, all the time, that just made it feel like, oh, I think that I'm getting close to beating this game, or I'm making progress towards beating this game. Joke's on you! Do this other side thing that's gonna take like 10 extra hours. Where am I going? Do I go talk to the freaking Dudo? All I know is she spelled blood, braids her hair, wears a black hat. It's so hopeless. What, do I need to change to like... I don't know, freaking... But yeah, anyway. Let's see here. Okay, the stuff that I missed and whatnot. Sorry, I was away. I was dealing with making a darn Square Enix account because reasons. Okami, like many games, is not for everyone. Yeah, it definitely was not for me. Again, I think it's kind of like freaking the Tales situation, where if I had played it when it originally came out, like when I was a freaking kiddo and such, I probably would have thought that game was a masterpiece. Like, if I had picked up Okami on like the PlayStation 2 or like the Wii or something, I probably honestly would have called that game a masterpiece. But playing it nowadays as a freaking busy adult with things to do, that game made me so miserable, like you wouldn't believe. Like, I think that is to date the most miserable playthrough I've ever had on this channel. And I've had miserable playthroughs, like the stuff that I covered in Roller Coaster Tycoon World, for example. But that was a situation where I was playing it with like the expectation that, you know, Roller Coaster Tycoon World is going to be god-awful and such. And the whole reason that I was streaming and covering it was for people to laugh at how bad that game is. I don't know if I'm ever going to play that game. That game also makes me kind of miserable with how awful that game is. But freaking Okami was a situation where it's like, this game is a masterpiece. It's so great that you're finally playing it and covering it on this channel. But then I played it and I freaking hated it. I wouldn't say I hated it, but like, I really, really strongly disliked it. Where am I supposed to go? I won't say that this game is frustration free. There are definitely times that remind me of Okami where it's like, what the hell do I do? Where do I go? Why are there no objective markers in this game? This game, Tales of Vesperia, it does make me frustrated sometimes. Now is one of those times, so I have to look up what I do here again. But it doesn't make me as frustrated as Okami. Freaking Okami made me frustrated every session. Every session I hopped into that game was like, yeah, let's just make progress in it so I can like get through it already. And it kept on going on and on because it had 3 arcs that I didn't realize when I first started. So I kept thinking I was about to beat the game and I was just like, joke's on you, there's more. And I was just like, ah, can I delete my channel already? Like, I hated my experience playing that. Like, I was so miserable. And now I'm miserable not knowing what to do in Tales of Vesperia. But yeah, let's see here. Many people love Okami, but it's not for not something everyone would actually enjoy if it's a niche. Yeah, I guess so. Also, it didn't help that, like, the brush was the most unresponsive thing in the world and was freaking god-awful. I've started working on the script for an Okami video essay before, many times. But, like, I don't know if it's something that I put out there. I mean, I already put out a video criticizing the modern state of Pokemon, so, like, what's the worst thing that could happen criticizing Okami? But, like, my goodness gracious. A lot of games have that issue of artificial lengthening. RDR2 is one of them, honestly. I don't know what RDR2 is, I'm sorry to say. Confused right now. Pretty sure there's a cutscene you're supposed to get when exiting the cave. Sure you didn't miss anything back at the other town? Do I have to go back all the way to the other town? Confused? No, you're good. That's what's supposed to happen later on. So you are at least enjoying this game. I think it's above average, but don't think it's perfect. I mean, it's definitely not perfect by any means. But I do genuinely think it's one of those situations where if I had played this when this first came out, I probably would have thought this was a masterpiece and I would have, like, played this so many times over. But, like, playing it nowadays is just kind of like, I'm confused at what's going on a lot of the time. Like, I don't know if that's a problem with the story structure or with me paying attention with, like, the way that, you know, I freaking laugh about situations in this game. But, like, it hasn't drawn me in as much as a lot of other games I've played. I'm definitely generally enjoying it. But I will say that if I wasn't a content creator and doing a playthrough on this game, I don't think that I'd continue it. If that answers the question there. Like, if I wasn't covering it for the sake of a playthrough, I don't think that it is something I'd have the motivation to get through. Though, to be fair, doing a playthrough on something does also give a lot more motivation for, like, covering something, because then, you know, you're talking, like, the way that I am, having conversations with people, and it's not just, like, sitting here playing the game. Like, I think if this was something that I had picked up and started playing on my own time, I don't think I'd be able to make it through. I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry if that's a disappointing answer, but I don't think I'd be able to. Quite frankly. Heck, maybe we'll get through, like, the rest of it, and it'll be, like, a pleasant surprise, and it'll be absolutely fantastic, and be like, wow, this is absolutely something, like, leagues worth putting time into and such. But, like, situations like this, where I just don't know what the heck I'm supposed to do, like, let's say I called the session right there, it would be one of those situations where it's just, like, I know that I could come back to it whenever I wanted to, but, like, why would I do that? Because I don't know what's going on, and, like, I'm lost on the story, and, like, it never, like, super duper drew me in the first place, so I don't particularly need to know the answers to things, and who knows how many guides I'd have to look up to continue making progress, so is it really worth the effort? So that would be the kind of situation where it's like, I just wouldn't wind up opening it again, quite frankly. And that would have happened every single session of Okami had that not been a thing being covered on the channel. Like, it wouldn't be a thing every session with, like, Tales, but there are situations like this where if I saved and quit right now and I wasn't a content creator, it would just be like, the story hasn't, like, super duper drawn me in yet. Like, it's not like I need to know how it plays out by any means. The gameplay isn't quite my style of gameplay, and I'm at a phase where I literally don't know what I'm doing. I would probably have to look up several guides to make any progress. So what reason do I have to open the game again, you know? That's the field that I'm at right now. So, like, I'm covering it and having fun with it because I'm a content creator that's, like, streaming it on Twitch and, like, having conversations with people. But I don't think it's the kind of thing that I could be motivated for on my own time. But yeah, haven't played Tales of Insomnia or Tales of Arise. So don't know if they have an objective marker. Who knows? Hopefully. And that's Red Dead Redemption 2. Gotcha. But yeah, I think you go to the inn and wait until the full moon, like, rest up at the inn and such. Like, I could try resting up at the inn and seeing if that's the answer. When Arise comes out, you really do hope they have it. If I do wind up freaking loving this game by the end of it, and that's what I thought was going to be with Okami. People kept telling me that Okami was going to get good, and that I hadn't reached, like, the super good parts yet throughout the entire playthrough, and it never got good. And I was so disappointed. But this does seem like the kind of game this game that I'm playing right now definitely seems like the kind of game that could definitely get good. Didn't I already rest here? Well, let's see if there's an immediate cutscene. Gosh darn it, I literally don't know. But yeah, situations like this would just take away all my motivation to, like, continue. Because, you know, I'd have to put in serious work to figure out, you know, what the heck I do to progress here. And I don't have enough reason to want to do that work because the gameplay isn't something that's, like, super duper stood out to me as, like, my kind of gameplay. I can see why people like it. I don't think it's my cup of tea. And the story doesn't feel like it's at a point where, you know, I need to know how things resolve and I'm, like, super deep into the plot or anything like that. So if I wasn't a content creator, I wouldn't have the motivation. What the heck do I do here? Like, small blonde braids her hair, wears a black hat, it's hopeless. What the hell? I've set Patty as my overworld Dudo. Like, what is going on here? I don't get it. Might also not end up being the best Tales game since one of the recent games, Zestria, wasn't the best, so you hope Horizon Alpha at least average or a bit above average. So it's just you have to search up a guide. Oh, man. There are definitely situations like this where I don't feel super motivated to continue with some game because I have to, you know, go and do extra work, you know. There are definitely situations like that. Tales of Vesperia guide. Is there a strategy wiki thing? I think I asked that before, but I didn't find one. Here's a game facts one. We sent the one you sent a while ago. Okay, I see this in Discord. So I'll go ahead and click this and go through the thing. Wait, does this have a table of contents? Because, oh, here we go, table of contents. So Arc 2, Dongress Heliord, Nordopolica, Westland of Kados, Mantike, Kagor, I think I was there. Jormgen, was I there? Mantike revisited? Yeah, I was there. Wasteland revisited, Nordopolica revisited. So this should be where I'm at. So this is about halfway through Arc 2, I think. Wait. Nordopolica revisit. Seen shortly after you enter. Head up to the inn inside the Coliseum safe. It will be the last chance you have to for a while. Now stay at the inn. After the scene, speak to Knots at the reception area for another scene. There was no scene after I rested at this inn. Stay at the inn after the scene. Speak to Knots in the reception area for another. I mean, I'll go, like, talk to someone here. I'll talk to all the people that are in this area. Couch is reserved. Yeah, I don't know who Knots is. I love how guides just, like, assume that you know who everybody is. Like, that defeats the purpose of freaking looking up a guide. Like, man, freaking, I'm glad that I told players to go talk with Knots, because all the players are going to know exactly who Knots is. It's not the reason that they looked up a guide because they need help with things or anything. Are none of these guys Knots? Oh, you're Knots. But, like, I rested at the inn. So we've revisited Nordopolica. Scene shortly after you enter. Was there a scene when we entered Nordopolica? Head up to the inn inside the Coliseum. Save. It will be the last chance that you have to for a while. I've freaking done this so many times. Now stay at the inn. There's apparently supposed to be a scene. There's supposed to be a scene with this, like, right now. And then after the scene, you speak to Knots in the reception area for another scene. Nothing. Nothing happens. There's no scene. Nothing happens. This is literally... Okay, it's starting to feel like Okami all over again. What the hell? I don't understand. I do not understand. I'm gonna just search up like a speed run or something. That's what I did with Okami. I looked up a speed run. Oh, something that I could mention when it comes to the Okami playthrough. I literally got so tired of Okami that rather than looking up a regular guide, I looked up a speed run on YouTube, and I started doing speed run tricks to start beating the game sooner. Like, I went out of bounds several times during the Okami playthrough just to get that playthrough over as fast as possible because Okami made me so miserable. Anyway, let's see here. So, Tales of Vesperia. I'm gonna look up a speed run is what I'm gonna do. New game plus speed run. Yeah, this is gonna be the way that we figure out what the hell's going on here, methinks. This is what we do. This is what I did with Okami. This is what we're doing with Tales. Where are we at? Where are we at, Wombo Combo? Okay, I skipped a little bit too far. It seems like. Whoa.
Something only I do.
Ah, yeah, I think that they're going to the place now. It says Bellius coming up. I think that we skipped to around where we need to. Okay, we don't need audio. That doesn't matter. But I appreciate this. 10 subscribers. That holy freaking, you're doing speed runs out here in freaking crazy times. You deserve more subs than that, my guy. Freaking anybody sees this after the fact interested in Tales of Vesperia, well, there's a new channel for you to check out, I guess. So you go talk there, and then do you get a cutscene? Why is it a black screen? They do get a cutscene! Why don't I get that cutscene? And then it's the night of the new moon, and they talk to the dude, I think, right? Okay, what the hell? What did they do earlier that I didn't? Did I straight up miss something in the town? Do I need to go do something down? Are you kidding me? Let's try input back over. I need to apologize if you're struggling with this game. Sorry, but it's not your fault. Don't worry about that. I think I literally need to get a cutscene back of the other thing. Unbelievable. Well, I think we literally need to go all the way back to that other town again, through the cave again, to get like some cutscene that I missed, even though the characters clearly said we had to go back to Nordopolica. Well, I'm suddenly wishing I had save states or something. So, even though our goal is back to Nordopolica, we need to backtrack all the way back to that other place because there was apparently some cutscene that I missed because it was super evident to go to like that shore or whatever. No, but you did suggest this game. Oh well. And also when it comes to like situations like Okami or even like other games that frustrate me, like this game doesn't frustrate me most of the time. It is frustrating me now. It doesn't frustrate me most of the time though. Even situations like games, even games that do frustrate me, even games that frustrate me through the entire game like Okami did, at least when it's done, it's like it's done on the channel forever. Like if I was doing something like Okami without being a content creator and was just playing it for the sake of, you know, playing it and whatnot, like the day would come that I beat it and would be able to say that I beat it, but like big whoop, doesn't really matter that much. But you know, even though it made me miserable doing it as a content creator, it's like that's a series that's going to exist on the channel until the end of time. So like, and that's one of the reasons I was able to get the motivation to get through that game, is because it's like, you know, when it's done, it's freaking a permanent addition to like the repertoire of the playthroughs completed on the channel, you know. Like that's a okay, yeah, you're still working on some stuff there. Wait, wasn't I using the other layout for this game because like this one blocked some things in the top right? I don't remember. I've started using this layout for like games more frequently lately. You have to go back then, knew there was something that you forgot but wasn't exactly certain. Yeah, I don't like it when games are like, oh, you can't progress because you missed the specific thing that you never knew about. That's not the best there. But yeah, even with situations with games that like frustrate me, at least when it's done, it's like that's a permanent freaking playthrough that's always going to exist on my YouTube channel, you know? That's never gonna go away. Freaking, if ever the day comes that somebody tells me to like cover Okami on this channel, freaking, where do I go? Was it this way? Was it this way after all? So even with situations like Okami, if somebody asks me like, however long in the future, like, oh, can you cover Okami on your channel? I can be like, I already did it. You can find it like at that playlist on my channel just by checking out like the playthroughs bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna go like auto mode to like shut off my brain for a little while, methinks. Like, it's something that's never gonna go away. So if ever anybody asks me in the future to cover Okami on my channel, I could be like, already done. You can find it there. So, you know, whenever I'm covering any game on this channel, as long as I see the playthrough all the way through to the end and whatnot, then even if it made me so miserable and it was so painful to get through it, it's like I never have to do it again, you know? Like, it's done forever. Like, I never have to play Okami again on this channel for whatever reason, you know? for that example. So, it's like, it's a permanent... Every playthrough that I complete on this channel is like a permanent badge of honor that's not going away. You know, what if I want to hop into a playthrough, like, again on the channel, then I'll freaking do it again. Like, we might do a second playthrough of Skyward Sword with the freaking HD version of it coming out again. And I could definitely see myself doing another playthrough of some of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games, for example. Like, if I want to freaking hop into another playthrough of a game, I absolutely will. I'm never gonna 100% Okami, no way. When I do playthroughs on this channel, the freaking going start to finish is good enough. Is the thing. There are some games that I have 100%ed on this channel, the most recent case being Assassin's Creed 4. Sometimes it does happen, but that's not what we do on this channel. Because if I was 100%ing it, then that would be like more time before I can hop into future games. Because, you know, freaking, I think that every playthrough that's completed on this channel is like a permanent badge of honor of sorts. Where it's like, in case anybody ever expects me to cover that game on this channel, it's like it's already done and they can find it at that place, you know. So back before I was a content creator, I used to 100% games all the time. I used to keep a list that I used to keep like a notepad list that I don't even know if I have anymore. I used to have this list that was literally all the games that I'd 100%ed in order, and I was trying to make that list like as long as possible. But nowadays, as a content creator, it's like, I don't try to 100% games anymore, just try to beat them instead of covering them on the channel. But it's like each game covered on the channel is like the new list of sorts. Like, my new goal is to make my playthroughs page of my YouTube channel, where you click on like the playthroughs tab and it shows all the playthroughs I've done in reverse chronological order. That's like the new thing that I want to deck out. This ring sucks. That's the new thing that I want to deck out as much as I can. Because if I go back to the browser here for a hot second, we can just let that play out in freaking auto mode is what we can do. Display capture here. Like freaking, rather than trying to 100% games, it's like now I'd rather, why is my internet being weird? New modem from earlier today. Now I want to deck out this page as much as possible right here. Freaking all the playthroughs on this channel in reverse chronological order with like the older stuff at the bottom. Like look how decked out this is already after 3 years. And I still want to always like keep on decking it out more and more all the time. Because it's like, hey, when that's done, it's something that's like done forever, you know? People can find it whenever they freaking want to, even if it's something that freaking made me miserable as hell. Like, where's the bit about the K9 warriors that I hated? Like, where was the bit where it was, oh, let's pause the thing. Where was the bit where it was announced that there was like more? And I freaking hated everything. Where was it? This was in, that was in early 2020 that we did this. Or is that still in the village? You have the K9 tracker. She'll return you 3 more. I don't like when games artificially make themselves longer. Being like, before you can continue in the main thing, go do this other thing. It's necessary first. My title's definitely you right now. Also on winter break intro. Nice. I think I started freaking, I guess I wasn't like as pissed right there. I probably was when it was announced like right then and there. But like, I know that made me very miserable for a while. Ah, my joints. I know that made me very miserable for a good while at least. But anyway, I used to 100% games all the time. Be like, yep, get the most value out of games I can. Try to like 100% a whole bunch of things and have those be like my achievements. But nowadays, it's like, you know, completed playthroughs covered as like part of a series on YouTube and such. That's like more of an achievement than 100%ing, I feel like. Because that's something that's, you know, it's something else that's never going to go away. People can look back at it whenever they want. So if there is anybody that really wanted to see me play Okami, there's a place that they can find that, you know? Like, it's done. It's a permanent badge of honor, essentially. That's my freaking, that's what I go for with games nowadays, is pushing through them. So even games that make me miserable, like, at least when they're done, and they're added to that list. And I never have to, like, go back to covering them on that list again. Anyway, the other stuff here, don't know if you remember, but if you feel like animal battles take too long, close run away from them when, oh yeah, there's always that. Mentioned that last time you played this game and you said you keep it in mind. Yeah, I'll keep it in mind. Can you cover Okami? Yeah, I better cover Okami. So the Dudo in this speed run made it like night here and then went down to there. Because that was something super evident for me to do. Wait, I can't go into the inn? That's the inn though. We're going back to the speed run. We're going back to the speedrun. What did Mr. Speedrunner do that I didn't? What's different here? Like, hold on. Go back a little bit. Then... oh, maybe they did some other things extra first. Okay, so they're in the place. Jeez, this isn't even halfway through the speedrun. This makes me worried. This makes me very worried, quite frankly. So they go out into the thing, and then they go into there. Yeah. And then they start getting the cutscene that we saw here before, right? Yeah, that cutscene there that they skip. So what do they do from here? And that's going to be what I do. So they go... oh, that's the inn. That's the inn. So I think that they go to the inn, they rest and make it like night. Oh, there's a cutscene by entering the inn there? Really? How was I supposed to know that? Apparently. So that's not the inn. The other one. It's the inn over here. Apparently.